The diligent workforce of the Lizardmen Empire, good for throwing into melee as fodder. I feel like it's a little bit sad, but anyways guys, we're going to be jumping right into the showdown between the dinosaurs, who shall be led by the glorious Banana Salon, and the warriors of chaos, who shall be led by a chaos lord atop a mighty dragon. You don't see him terribly often. Oftentimes you're going to be seeing a sorcerer lord on a dragon, but let's actually go ahead and take a look before I forget at some of the unique abilities. So I guess the reason you bring him is for the Pendant of Slaanesh. So when you pop this, he gets 44 melee attack and a speed buff, which is pretty cool. It lasts for 42 seconds, which is most certainly a long time, and is on a relatively short cooldown, so it should be quite good. And of course, he still has breath attack, so if you're looking to roast some Temple Guard or elite troops, you're going to have that juicy Dark Fire of Chaos. But as far as my build goes, it's going to be, I wouldn't say like a pure kite build, but it's kind of one of those builds that is very spread out. And ideally, you want to pull your opponent apart, force them to have to overcommit to certain areas, at which point you can overload their weak points. So in total, we have a couple skink cohorts with javelins. We have 3 of those bad boys, and they are spread out into the sunset. And Chaos is a relatively slow faction as it pertains to their infantry, so you can get some pretty good kiting for sure. So we have skink cohorts across the sunset, and I was kind of expecting maybe some, cab or some mobility, maybe dragon ogres, things like that. So ideally, the dragon ogres have to commit to one area. You can outmaneuver them with your horn ones. You can net them down using the Banana Salon. And I do also have the Colossadon Hunters, which are the Riprodactyl Riders RWR. And these guys, I'm telling you, they're very, very squishy, but if they get in on a good target, like an ideal target, they can tear it to shreds. So in total, we have 3 of these little skinks. We have a couple of red-crested skinks in the back because there may come a point when you actually do have to fight fisticuffs and go up against like Chosen and elite troops. So the cohort of Sotek's Unbreakable, they have good AP, decent stat line, and yeah, these guys can put a dent in Chaos Infantry, especially with a little bit of support. On top of that, we got 2 Horned Boys, and the Horned ones are, they're pretty powerful against Chaos. They can do a number on Chaos Knights because of their really good AP values. They can isolate and pick off armored Chaos Infantry. And they have pretty good mass, really good leadership here at 98. They're one of those units that like fights to the bitter end. So Horned ones, I think, are a pretty good inclusion. Now, Cold and Spear Riders are quite good as well, but I like the Horned ones a little bit more in this matchup. My personal preference, of course. I'm sure much better players would have different opinions, but these guys, they're better against infantry, and they're pretty good against cap as well. So I like having the more well-rounded pick here. On top of that, we got 2 chameleons in the front, going to be poking, slowing things down, and also serving as a counter-skirmishing tool against Marauder Horse Masters. Poison, pretty good range at 80. I mean, Horse Masters, I think, have 90 range, so, for the most part, you'll be trading someone evenly. Aerocrastic opening up with a fireball right here on my Toad. The Toad is going to be taking a blow for sure right in the face, but he's pretty thick. He should be fine. And like I said, Colossadon Hunters, this is a bit of a pick that I was a little bit on the fence about, but they certainly can tear things to shreds. They have a bonus versus large, so if there's any flying threats from Chaos, they can do a ton of damage. Pretty good against infantry as well. They have 60 melee attack and really good AP values, a charge bonus of 56. And you can pop Toad Rage if you really want to go balls deep. We do also have an Ancient Salamander, so when you're going for like a battlefield control build like this, the Ancient Salamander is going to be mobile, going to be very annoying, can poke down the heavy Chaos Infantry, because oftentimes one of the more standard builds that you do see from the dinos is going to be Temple Guard with Time Warp and just like a Helm's Deep, right? Like a turtle with Temple Guard and a couple maybe big monsters to fight. So I think Chaos oftentimes is going to bring like Chosen and elite infantry like this, and you can see Arrow brought, pretty good infantry. Chaos Warriors, Halberds, he has Chosen or Mirror Guard on the far side. So I think the Ancient Salamander kind of tech pick is going to be quite good. That's pretty much it for my force. We do have a Skink Chief as well for Aerocrastic. He's got a front line and shaft, secondary line of armor piercing. So he's got Chosen with great weapons, Chaos Warriors with great weapons. And it's pretty good build against even the Monster Mash, because he has 4 groups of Marauder Horse Masters, which can tear apart a Feral Carnosaur very efficiently. He's got Fireball sniping as well for Feral Carnosaurs. And plus, the Chaos Lord is going to be a pretty good duelist with that Pendant of Slaanesh. So certainly no joke here on this big scary Chaos Monster Dragon Beast. So let's get this show on the road, guys, and have some fun. So the initial skirmishing is underway. Chameleons are going to be swooping in, just trying to get some pokes where they can. And I'm going to be sending in my Skink Chief to start shooting at the Chaos Sorcerer, just getting some free darts where I can. But Aerocrastic, of course, will be pulling in some of these guys to get some value here with the Horse Masters. So we're going to be charging in with the Horned ones, trying to get some freebies on the Chaos Marauders. I do have the mobility advantage, so I can pretty much get away with this. I do lose a Horned one to a Fireball there, but for the most part, these Marauders are going to be taking a beating. Horned ones hit really hard, great charge bonus, and pretty good sustained combat stats. So we charge in there and there. Horned ones are going to be charging in on the far side as well. I have to be careful not to get them Rampage, though. That would actually be really bad. So I pull back here, able to melt pretty much half HP off those Marauders. I do take a little bit of damage, though. And the Salamander is going to be shooting at Chosen, getting some OK poke in as well. Now over here we have a bit of a pit fight. Aerocrastic did charge in with his dragon, and also, I believe, Marauder Horse Masters. He went in after some skinks right there that were kind of defending my flank. But I do have the red-crested skinks, plus I do also have nets of Amnitok coming in from the fat Toad here. So we're going to be netting him down right here, and you can see that the Pterodon Riders, or the Colossadon Hunters, are going to be just going deep on this dragon, doing a ton of damage. Plus, we also have the red-crested skinks mixed in, and the overcasted net did catch a lot of stuff. So we were able to catch a group of Horse Masters, 2 of them right here, and we're getting a ton of damage into that Chaos Lord. Now, I don't think we're going to be able to kill him here. I don't have quite enough stopping power, considering he does have some supporting elements, but still a really, really good catch. Now back here, we're still cycle charging with the Horn ones, getting some pretty good value here against Chaos Marauders. We're able to break those guys. Ancient Salamander still just dropping some of these furballs. It looks like it's like a cat retching a furball kind of, but he's just shooting at the Chosen and slowly kind of wearing those guys down. And a little shot right there, not the best, most accurate contact, but it looks like right here, Aerocrastic is going to be going for a big Alpha Strike. So he pulls in with the Horse Masters. Against Horn ones, it's a pretty bold strategy for sure, but he does also have the Manscore. He has Chaos Infantry nearby, so if he peels them over and also gets a good breath attack with the Chaos Sorcerer Lord, it could actually, or excuse me, yeah, Chaos Lord, it's going to be pretty good potentially. But I think it's going to favor my troops because I do get the bonus Time Warp, so I just start mulching. I mean, these guys become lawnmowers. 71 melee attack, plus the Ancient Salamander is pretty good melee combat himself, so we get some good grinding, we take out the infantry, and we are also able to pin in the Chaos Sorcerer. So the Salamander, pretty good melee combat, especially with Throne's Time Warp. So we're going to be attacking this Chaos Sorcerer, trying to get as much damage as we can, as the Chaos Sword is going to be landing in this pocket, and things are about to get really, really messy here. So I'm taking quite a bit of damage. You can see the Horn ones here down to 23 models. These ones are at 33, which is pretty healthy. Over here we have some light battling going on between the cohort of Sotek and these Chaos Infantry. Banishment going to be going down for my Salon right here. But here comes the Toad Rage. Up in the sky we have the Colossadon Hunters going to be coming in and popping that Toad Rage. So these guys are going to rampage, and they are the true definition of like lawnmower units. They're going to annihilate these Horse Masters and probably do a ton of damage to the Chaos Sword as well. But they're going to take damage themselves. They're kind of like a glass cannon unit, especially since Aerocrastic clears up some troops behind them, but it looks like the terror route does go down. They do cause terror, I think, or maybe something else in mine here does. Yeah, it's probably the Salamander, actually. So Mirror Guard are going to be coming in to pin my troops in the back. We do pull ahead in the Bounce of Power, as my Death Star here is doing really well. Ancient Salamander and Horn ones doing a ton of damage. Horse Masters are cycle charging in and also throwing their Javelins, and actually are slowly wearing me down. The Pendant of Slanesh makes this guy hit really hard, so he is able to get some really good punch in the middle. You can see my Horn ones are taking a lot of work, but it still favors us pretty heavily. We were able to just break down that Chaos Sword. So the Colossadon Hunters, right before they break and get terrified, do take out that Chaos Sword on the Dragon, and the Chameleon Skinks are able to lend some pretty good fire there to slow him down and make sure he doesn't escape. Now, Bounce of Power is a little bit in my favor. Game's certainly not over. He has a lot of troop quality left. He has Chosen, he has Chaos Warriors with great weapons, but I have pretty good kiting potential here. I have a lot of ammunition left on the Chameleons, and the Horn ones, though, they did break. I mean, I still have how many? 12 here and 18 here. That's 30 in total. That's pretty good. That's almost like a full group's worth of actual combat stopping power. So from here, we're basically going to be trying to isolate the Chaos troops, and I also have some troops in reserve I haven't really sent in this entire game. I didn't need to, so I was just trying to keep them back and send them in and kite a little bit with those guys. So we're going to be dropping some Javelin fire coming in from the Skink cohorts here. Mirror Guard do, of course, have silver shields, but everything matters, like I said. And the Banana Salon's going to be coming in maybe to drop a net of Ammontok, as the Ancient Salamander does drop some serious bombage here on the Mirror Guard. So Ancient Salamander in the back's pretty healthy, but Aerocrastic does have a pretty good core of Model Horse Masters. He still has 26, 21, and 22, and then on this group he's got 36. So I mean, most of them are at like half capacity in terms of their model count, but they can still do a lot of work. So basically, I was making a big effort here to get my Chameleons and screen those guys out, and make sure they can't like get up onto the ideal targets. Because if the Horse Masters could focus on my very tattered Horn ones, or my very beat up Colossadon Hunters, or even the Ancient Salamander, that could be something that could get him back in the game. So here we have a pit fight between the Mirror Guard, and they're going to be fighting against the Red Crested Skinks. And those little skink guys definitely doing some pretty good work, despite the fact they're fighting Chosen and they're very, very heavily surrounded. But the Salon's going to be coming in, dropping that shield of the old ones, and also the Aura Pretzel, to give the really good melee defense here to the Red Crested Skinks. They're now up to 46, which is quite good. Up in the sky, I also have the Skink Chief, who's going to be dropping some single target shots on some of these elite troops. And here on the far side, the Colossadon Hunters and the Horn ones are just tearing these guys apart. These Chaos Infantry are just getting mulched by these very elite dinosaur infantry. Man, Lizardmen are such like a diverse faction. I mean, they have so many different ways they can play against Chaos. I mean, and a multitude of matchups, right? Like, you can go with a kite. It wasn't like a pure kite build, but kind of like a mobile build, like an Alpha Strike build, where you're going with like Horn ones and Colossadon Hunters trying to get those good fights. Or you can play with like a Dinosaur Death Star, using like Carnosaurs or things like that, and you can really get some good value. But anyways, here, we do drop a net. Aerocrastic does come in for a bit of a cycle charge, but we get a really good net. We're able to net down pretty much all these horsemen. And now they're going to be going down to Skinks, getting poisoned, and the Colossadon Hunters and the Skink Chief will probably be swooping in just a moment to clean these guys up. And there are some Chaos Warriors left, some Chosen, excuse me, man, I lost my voice there for a second. But the Blood Statue of his fight is going to be able to finish those guys off. So well played to Arrow. It was a very fun game for sure. I was a little bit unsure about the build coming in, but I figured that if the dinosaurs, or not dinosaurs, but if the Warriors of Chaos decided to go for like a monster mash build using like Shaggoths or things like that, I was like, okay, how am I going to deal with Shaggoths? I can kite the infantry, I can pull them apart with the Ancient Salamander. When they over pursue, I can just gank the Shaggoths. And if the Shaggoths want to play that slow game and just wait for me, I have the Skink Chief, I have a Javelin support. Colossadon Hunters can easily solo a Shaggoth if they can isolate it. So I felt pretty good against that style of play, and against a build like this, that's more like Marauder heavy and Marauder Horseman kind of play, trying to focus down my high value targets. I feel like with the cohorts plus the skinks and the salamander, I'm going to be able to kind of out skirmish those guys. So I really felt like it was a pretty good build, and I look forward to trying it a little bit more against chaos. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this dino build for sure. And as far as the chaos build goes, I think his build was quite good against the more typical Lizardman stuff, right? He has the Chosen, he has the Chaos Warriors with great weapons, he has the big Dragon Breast, the Roast Temple Guard. So Temple Guard would have had some problems in terms of cost efficiency fighting against Chaos Warriors and Chosen. He has the Horse Masters to deal with my Carnosaurs, my big threats. And of course, he has some really heavy punch with the Chaos Sword, and Fireball sniping is always quite good. So it was a good build for sure. And yeah, it was a really fun game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this Dinosaur vs. Chaos game. And make sure to check out Aerocrastic over on his YouTube channel, which will be linked in the comment section below. And we will see you guys next time. Take care.